Hello everybody. So I am going to be telling you all about the books that I read in the month of June, which I feel like, considering the month I had in June, I actually had a pretty decent reading month. Like the first half of June, I was really struggling with my mental health just in a general sense, and then something happened in the second half of June that just made it worse. However, considering all of that, I'm very happy with how much I read, what I read, and it was just overall, like, reading wise, it was a fun month. So first of all, we're just gonna go into the pile as is. First off, I finally finished House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. It only took me like 4 fucking months because I was listening to this like half on audio and half physical, and I loved it. Probably not as much as like the first book. I don't think I enjoyed this book quite as much. It kind of like jumped around a little bit too much for my liking, like even more than book 1. But oh my god, the ending, everyone was like, oh my god, the ending is amazing. Like I had friends messaging me like asking me if I'd finished it yet because they needed to talk to me about the ending, and I get it. Like I get it. Oh my god, that ending was worth it, like completely. I finished reading this while I was traveling, and oh my god, I just had to like kind of like sit there and not know how to really process anything of what had happened. I feel like this book was a little bit all over the place. Like while I really enjoyed it, I feel like I was being pulled in like so many different directions, and there was just a lot going on. Not so much that I didn't understand what was going on, it was just, it felt like a lot. And I don't know whether maybe my enjoyment of this was hindered by how long it took me to read, but in saying that, I still really love this book. Like easy like 4.5 out of 5 stars, maybe even like a light 5 stars. Next I have Mooncakes by Suzanne Walker and Wendy Zhu, and I really enjoyed this one. I think I read this like right at the beginning of June. June felt like the longest month for me. Like the beginning of June feels like it was like 6 months ago. I don't know how, but it did. Anyway, so I read this right at the start, and I read it because this was on my Pride TBR, and this follows a witch and a werewolf who fall in love. It is about a non-binary wolf and a deaf witch who end up reuniting after being away for a few years from each other to try and figure out what is going on in the forest. And there's real weird supernatural forces that are happening, and they kind of team up to fight them, and it's just so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I really love the art style. I really thought the relationship between the two main characters was really cute, and it was just really well done, and I'm so glad I finally read it. Like I mentioned earlier, I was having a rough time in June, and so I was reading a lot on my iPad because I didn't have a lot of physical books with me when I was traveling. And so I was trying to think of like what I wanted to read that was like fun and kind of like mindless and easy, and I decided to go with alien romance because why the fuck wouldn't I? So I ended up reading Barbarian Mind, which is book 4 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series by Ruby Dixon, and I actually really love this one. Like I think book 4 is probably my favorite of the series so far. Like I don't know how to rate these books because it's like if I wanted to grade on a curve, I probably wouldn't rate this 4 stars because it's like I can't compare this being 4 stars to like another book I've really loved that's 4 stars. But anything lower than that feels wrong to give it. In the grand scheme of the sexy alien books I've read so far, this one feels most like a 4-star read. I don't know whether I'm rating this one 3 or 4 stars because I don't know whether I'm grading on a curve or not. I don't know if I want to. I have not thought that much about my rating scale. However, I know that I really love this book. I loved Harlow and Rook so much. They were my favorite couple easily so far, and this one had more of like a plot going on, which was really cool. And we got like a flash forward into like 1 year later into their lives, and I think this was the first time that there's like a baby amongst all of these pregnant women. It's exactly what I wanted to read because I didn't want to think about anything, and I just wanted to read something that was fun and quick, and that is what these books give me. And then I read the 5th book, which is Holiday. It's some holiday, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a Christmas special for Ice Planet Barbarians, and it wasn't my fave. It was fine. It was just kind of like a silly fun little book, you know, and I was like, oh, maybe I should like skip this one and like read it at Christmas time, but like who actually cares? No one cares. So I just read it, and yeah. So for contrast, I rated the Holiday Special 2 stars as opposed to 4 stars for the previous book. So if you've read this series, maybe you can tell me why I'm rating the way I'm rating. I don't know. I don't have the answers to this, but it's fun reading them. Next, I have The Black Flamingo by Dean Ader, and this I feel like I didn't even read in June. This feels like I read it so long ago, but I flew through this. This is another one that I'd been meaning to read for ages. This is about Michael, who throughout his entire life is trying to come to terms and learn more about his identity as a mixed race gay teen. And it's not until university that Michael kind of finds his place and really like learns his self-worth, and he finds that through drag. And it's such a beautiful, well-written, like incredible story. It's very, very quick to read. Like it took me maybe an hour tops to read this because it's all written in prose, and there's like lots of illustrations and whatnot throughout this as well. I ended up giving this book 5 out of 5 stars because I loved it so much. I loved seeing Michael's confidence grow and reading about his story, and it was just so well done and such a good read. Then I ended up reading Goddess of the Hunt by Shelby Eileen, and this is actually a poetry collection. This is a reimagining of the life of Artemis, who is the Greek goddess of the hunt. It tells the story of her lifelong vow of chastity, and instead of suffering through it, it reimagines it in a way that she's actually aromantic and asexual, and how it's just a part of her identity. And I loved it so much. Oh my god, this book was so good. I really want to get the physical copy of this one to annotate, but for now I think I read it on Kindle Unlimited, and it was so beautiful, and it was so well written, so interesting, and I really loved reading all of these beautiful poems and like this collection from the perspective of a goddess who's aromantic and asexual. It was so cool to read about. There are so many beautiful quotes in here. I'll just read out like one of them because there are so many. But one page says, I think whatever hurt or hollowness you feel when you see someone who is peaceful in their solitude is your own loneliness. It's so well told, like the whole story, and all of the words are so beautiful, and I definitely want to check out this author's other work. If you're looking for like a poetry collection that doesn't necessarily revolve around love or anything like that, I would definitely recommend this one. I would recommend it if you're looking for anything that has asexual or aromantic representation. I would even recommend it even if you just plain old love poetry. Like the words are so beautiful. I'm gonna get the physical copy because I'm obsessed with it. The last book that I'm showing you that I read in June was actually the first book that I read, and that is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. I love this so much. It's one of my new favorite novels, I think, one of my new favorite romances. It's 5 out of 5 stars easily. It follows Delilah Green, who moved away from her small hometown years and years ago when she was younger, and she's in her 30s now. She has to go back to be the photographer for her sister's wedding, and she does not get along with her sister or her family at all. Delilah ends up falling for her sister's best friend Claire, and Claire is just a whole other character who I just adore so much. She's a single mother, she's just really cool as well, and I just like, she's a bookstore owner, like just everything about her is cool. And same with Delilah as well. They're all really flawed characters, but it's so realistic and they each feel so real. Like you could know these people in real life, and I just adored them. I adored the relationships. It really explores, you know, miscommunication within a family and misunderstandings, and I really love that aspect of it as well. And there's gonna be more set in this town, which I'm just so excited for. And the next book is exploring her sister, Astrid. I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's just, this is one of my new favorites, and I love it so much. All right, they are all of the books that I read in the month of June. Like I said, I had a really fun reading month. I really loved everything that I read in some capacity, and I can't wait to see what I end up reading in July. Let me know down in the comments below what you ended up reading in June and what you thought of your reads as well. And if you got this far in the video, leave a little flower emoji. I don't care what one, just a flower will do. I'll leave all of my socials down below if you want to go check them out. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at twitch.tv/tkitty with 2 Y's, where I stream reading sprints and games as well. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time for a new video.